Man, it got colder out. And a lot more cloudy. It was sunshine no more than 15 minutes ago. Anyway, I'm at Port Republic, Virginia. Port Republic Battlefield. This is part of the 1862 Stonewall Jackson Valley campaign. Now, all this out here was open field. And I'm standing on the hill, all this area, all up through there, all through here on the Union side. I think it was General... Oh, God, who was the Union general? I can't pull it right now. But Stonewall Jackson and his troops are all down there coming this way. And in my opinion, this is one of two, maybe three battles where Stonewall Jackson got his ass kicked. The other one being about 60 miles north that way in Kearneystown or Kernsville, which is a subset of Winchester, the first battle. And why did he get his ass kicked? Because if it wasn't for, I think it was General Ewell, who fought in the Battle of Cross Keys, which is about 12 miles that way on the other side of the Shenandoah River, he was already in retreat. He only had about he had the numbers. He had 6,000 troops with him, and there was about 4,500 Union on the ridge right around here, plus all the heavy artillery. And all he was doing was advancing through the open field, kind of like General Lee did with Pickett at Gettysburg. And he was just getting annihilated. And Union launched a counterattack and was driving him all the way back to the Grottos, which is still a good 17 miles that way. And if it wasn't for Ewell that came up the next day for reinforcements to push the Union back up to this position, then later they would retreat back up Route 11 right here, back up north. Is it up the valley? I can't remember what they say. Is it up the valley when they go north or down the valley? I can't remember. But a lot of people call this a stalemate, but I call this one in Kernstown, Kernsville, Stonewall Jackson ass kicking. He was just launching everything he had right in the center, and they just picked them apart. So, I'm going to move on to another site here, and then I'll have a small aside for you later on. Okay, so I was trying to do it by memory, and it was Federal Commander General Erastus Tyler. So, as you can see through here, we're right here, all the guns, and you had a whole Ohio division, you had stuff in reserve, you had the Pennsylvania, and Taylor was coming around that way, and Jackson was launching everything right up the frickin' center, because he was aggressive like that. Anyway, take you to somewhere else. So also there's this old church right here, and I don't know what made me think of it. I don't know, probably because of the red door, because it stands out. How many points or... what was it? Martin Luther. How many points or points of view, or whatever you want to call it, did he nail on the church door? Was it 80? 65? I can't remember. Someone comment on how many things there were from Martin Luther. Thanks. So 3 days earlier, before Port Republic, you had the Battle of Chestnut Ridge, or also known as the Battle of Harrisonburg. Harrisburg's up in PA. Harrisonburg. And this was led by Colonel Turner Ashby. And he was born up in Fauquier County, Virginia. And on the think it's the Bull Run Mountains or the Blue Ridge Mountains off of the intersection of 17 North and 50 West. There's a gap there called Ashby's Gap, named after him. He's buried up in Winchester, Virginia, which is about, again, probably 60 miles north, that way's north. But here, he led a battle and was killed. And here's his marker right here. 3 days before the Battle of Port Republic. And he was then posthumously given the rank of general after his death. So, fighting all through here. His horse was shot out from under him. He got up, told his troops to bayonet charge the oncoming Union troops coming up this way. Then he was shot through the chest. And that's about it for it. There's not really much known. He didn't last very long in the Civil War. Then he was brought to a house, I think it was called the Kemper House, down at Port Republic for a short funeral service. Jackson did attend that before taking battle a couple days later for the Battle of Port Republic. Like I said earlier, and in my opinion, got his ass kicked. But that's about it for here. Move on to one more thing for you, and then I'll do a little bullshit thing. How about that for a frickin' obstacle course? Just walked right by that and didn't even notice it. I don't know if it's open to the public or it's part of the ROTC stuff for James Madison. I don't know, Dave. You said there was a plaque outside Chandler Hall, and this is all I could find. Well, here's another plaque, Dave. Is this it? Alright, you said outside Chandler. And that sewer hole's the only thing that's outside Chandler that I see as a plaque. Alright, so in all seriousness, Dave, your plaque isn't there. Actually, there's no plaques around anywhere. And I went and found out that they're not doing plaques anymore. They're setting up the bricks. So when they're laying like new bricks like these, you can donate to get your name carved on it with your graduation date. So until I see a brick, I don't believe you graduated from here. So about 2 years ago, I guess it was, I went to Charlestown and went to Happy Retreat, the house of Charles Washington, the younger brother of George Washington. And I was looking all over for his frickin' gravesite. And it turns out it is way far away from the house and where I was looking. So the house is that way, through all these woods and up the hill. I guess I should have known it was far, but here's his grave. And his wife is buried in here with him. Not sure if anyone else is in here besides just them. But let's see. Here's that. It wasn't found until I think the 50s, because all this was undeveloped. And I think when they started clearing out this land and stuff like that for future development, not these new houses, this is all, but just clearing of the land in general, they finally found it. Yeah, I'm finally glad I found it too. So what I really wanted to say was, I thought that we had a good understanding. And it's been, I think, 10 months? I don't know. I haven't been watching or paying attention. But someone sent me a video clip. Video clip with a timestamp. And it seems like you're back at it again out there at the 1699 ranch. So let's address some things. Yes, my son goes to JMU, all because Camo Dave went there. He had no other choice. I am such a Camo Dave fanatic that he had to go to JMU. No ifs, ands, or buts. And how fucking stupid are you? And another thing is, I don't forget about my daughter. She is in her mid-20s, working, and is more successful in her mid-20s than you ever have been or will be in your life. So again, just drop it with whatever frickin' weird-ass theories you have of no research whatsoever. What? It's what? What the hell is today? Friday night? Or coming on Friday? Why don't you go back and do what you normally do and spread peanut butter on your body, have your dog lick it off, while you stare at your mannequin heads, because that's about as close to a piece of ass as you will ever get. Fuck off.